Hello students, in today's class let us try to understand on the topic of modern bank management. It is the title. Under this title, Cooperative Banking, myself Dr. Sreenivasaiah K, Department of Collegiate Education, Government of Karnataka. The learning objective of this session is to understand the different types, features, functions, merits, demerits of cooperative banking. Session outcome: after understanding this session, we can understand, student will be able to understand the areas of cooperative bank operations. My presentation plan is like this: introduction to cooperative banking, meaning of cooperative banking, features of cooperative banking, objectives of cooperative banking, functions of cooperative banking, merits of cooperative banking, demerits of cooperative banking, and recap whatever we have done in this session. I am going to recap the same to analyze better understanding. Further, in the introductory part, cooperative banking, it is in India after the independence, it has gained its momentum, that too particularly in the year 1954, when Government of India has appointed a committee called All India Rural Credit Survey Committee. This committee is recommended the rural credit importance and financial issues in the rural community. After these recommendations, so Government of India, so that is established a well-defined institutional framework cooperative organizations to meet rural credit needs as well as the urban credit needs. To meet these rural credit need and urban credit need in the first 5-year plan to end of the all 5-year plan, it has been grow the scope of cooperative societies and achieve greater employment generation and poverty eradication. It has given a huge, which means it has given a huge scope for the development of rural as well as urban areas. This cooperative banking system in India, it has been paved a kind of a transition from underdevelopment to development, particularly in the rural areas. So therefore we can say that cooperative banking system in India has changed the phase of growth in India's economic development as well. Further, what are the objectives of cooperative banking? The important objectives of cooperative banking are to provide rural financing and microfinancing, to remove the dominance of money lenders and middlemen. Earlier, what is happening, there was a predominance of money lenders and middlemen for the credit facilities, which is extended to a farming community and rural community. After establishment of this cooperative banking system, this middleman system is it has been grew to a larger extent. To provide credit services to the agriculturists and weaker sections of the society at comparatively lower rate. Here what is happening, particularly in German, there was a system where Jews were exploiting the people, taking higher rate of interest and purchasing the agricultural products at lower prices, and they were selling at higher prices. That was the one of the exploitation thing which were happening. So to stop this, in the German, they were Raiffeisen model, they were in the cooperative system they were started in the cooperative system model. Further, to provide financial support and personal financial services to the small scale industries, housing financial assistance to the even to the villages, urban area people, even town areas people also. So therefore, it is also like other commercial banks, how they are playing an important role in the credit market. These cooperative bank is also playing a very important role in the credit market. These cooperative banks are also like a commercial banks. They whatever the functions are performed by commercial banks, these cooperative banks are also performing the same functions. To provide basic banking services to its members. So whatever who are the members are there, for all these members, that is cooperative banking, it is providing basic banking services. To promote the overall development of rural areas, actually these cooperative banking system to uplift the rural areas, it is taking an important step to make development of the rural people, eradication of poverty and generation of employment by extending the credit. Further, cooperative development in India. In 1958, National Development Council had recommended a national policy on cooperatives. So from that time onwards, in the cooperative sector, there was a significant change was happened. Then this has leads to the socio-economic development in the country. Finally, there is a substantial growth in the sector of different areas. The number of all types of cooperatives were increased from 1.81 lakhs in the year 1950 to 51 to 4.53 lakh of cooperatives in the year 1996 to 97, which means, so here number of cooperatives and their membership in the cooperative societies has been increased during this period. So in the economy, these cooperatives are working particularly credit, production, processing, marketing, input distribution, housing, dairying, textiles. In some of these areas of their activity like dairying, urban banking and housing, sugar handlooms and cooperatives have achieved a success to an extent. Particularly in India, milk cooperative system as one of the successful model when compared to other countries of cooperative system. Next successful model, particularly in the sugar industry, then other industries like vegetable, agricultural, vending vegetable, these need still there is a improvement in these areas. Totally we can say that in India, so sugar, so that is milk, dairy cooperative system, it is one of the best successful model. But even though the credit cooperative societies are also extending loan to the people of rural areas, that is also becoming an important successful model, but not to the extent of like a dairy model. Next, types of cooperative banks. In India, we can make out majorly 5 kinds of cooperative banks model. Primary cooperative credit societies. So these primary credit cooperative societies, mainly they are located in the villages. These primary credit cooperative societies are extending the maximum loan facilities to the people of rural areas. Maximum agricultural credit, it has been distributed with the help of primary agricultural credit cooperative system. So therefore, so this system, it is one of the important type of a cooperative bank system. Next, district cooperative banks. District cooperative banks are the banks which are located in the district level, which these district cooperative banks are extending financial help to the primary credit cooperative societies. These district cooperative societies, again, they are being supervised by state credit cooperative societies. Next, further, third one, state credit cooperative bank. These state credit cooperative banks are wholly owned by the in the state. So these are the mainly it is the main source of these state cooperative banks are all even government as well. These cooperatives normally they raise funds from the shareholder that is a shareholding pattern. These things, these state cooperative banks are supervising the district cooperative banking system. Next, land development banks. These land development banks, which are the banks which are located even in all the places as well, but it is supervised by NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. So these land development banks are going to extend loan facilities to make permanent changes on the land holdings. Urban cooperative societies. These urban cooperative societies are located mainly in urban areas. When these cooperative societies are locating in the urban areas, they are providing credit facilities to the people who are residing in the urban areas. So these are the 5 kinds of cooperative banking system which we can trace out in India. So next, what are the features of cooperative banking system in India? The important features of cooperative bank system in India: one person, one vote, which means the cooperative system, it is in India, it is running on the principle of complete democracy. Complete democracy, which means it is controlled by the people of that particular region. So here all the directors, all the secretaries, all the that is members, different members being selected on the voting pattern. So there is a pattern of one person, one vote in the cooperative banking system. Sound business practices and resilient structures. So here cooperative bank system, they have their own sound business practice according to changes taking place in the system. In this, according to that, they can change their business models as well. Financing the real economy. These cooperative banking system, an important feature is to financing the real economy, particularly in the small and marginal people in the both urban and rural areas. Leading the way to the field of social responsibility. These cooperative banks are the way, paving the way towards the field of social responsibility. So they were looking after the social responsibility in various ways. Principle of cooperation. This cooperative banking system, it is running on the principle of cooperation. From them, one person for everybody is for one person, like that. They will be having their self-cooperation among themselves. That will lead to a kind of a mutual benefit to everybody. Limited banking products. See, the cooperative banking system, of course, there is a limited banking products, means whatever the complete banking system products are there in the like commercial banking, though all kinds of products, though we are not able to expect all the branches, but there are there, but we cannot expect in all the branches. Democratic control. So here in the cooperative banking system, there is a democratic control, which means everybody are going to review the decision, then they are going to come to a final decision. Profit allocation. So since already we have understand it is a shareholders bank, this share whatever the money earned and every share it has been distributed in the name of that is shareholding capital profit, that is dividend. Value creation. The cooperative banks are going to create value in the society, to uplift the rural and urban small and marginal people. Financial inclusion. These cooperative banks are the form of financial inclusion, because where there is no possibility of establishing the commercial banks by the government, these cooperative banks can establish, they can bring each and every strata of the society into banking method. So therefore we can say that it is one of the financial inclusion model in the country to reach each and everybody in the country. Next, what are the functions of cooperative banks? The important functions of cooperative banks, it is, since already we understand that small and medium and marginal farmers were extended loan facility earlier, higher rate of interest, but these with these cooperative banks, they are going to extend higher rate of interest for the deposits made by the members, and at the same time lower rate of interest which they are going to take credit from the cooperative. So this is the philosophy which cooperative banks have been adopted. It supervises and guides affiliated societies. What does it mean? Affiliated societies means the primary agricultural credit cooperative societies are affiliated to the district cooperative societies and state level cooperative societies. So state level cooperative societies are supervising and guiding the primary agricultural credit cooperative societies. Rural financing, it provides financing to rural sectors like cattle farming, crop farming, hatching, and comparatively lower rates. So these cooperative banks are providing loan, particularly the cattle farming, crop farming, and hatching. Particularly agro-based industry, these cooperative banks are extending loan facility to a maximum extent. Urban financing, these cooperative banks are extending even urban financing also. So that is small scale industries, personal finance, home finance, etc. So these home finance, even they can extend it to the rural people also, but mainly these urban financing, through urban financings, home finance and personal finance and credit towards small scale industries will be taken care by the cooperative banks. It mobilizes funds from its members and provides interest on the invested capital, which means to say that here also take so the deposit from the members people with the attractive interest, also it will be given to the people, as well as it will raise share fund. To this share fund also it is going to give that is in the form of like a share capital dividend. Like this, the cooperative banks are performing a very good function in the society in the social centric methods. Further, importance of cooperative banks. It has an extensive branch network all over the country, making credit easily available even to the rural areas. It accounts 67% of total rural credit has been extended by the cooperative banks. Here we need to understand very important thing that any country for that matter, the lower strata of the society has to develop. The lower strata of the society mainly where they were there in the rural area. So therefore, extending rural credit is most important. So these cooperatives are accounted So that is about nearly 67% of rural credit has been extended in the form of cooperative banks. So therefore, we can say that the role of the importance of cooperative banks is very, very, very important. It is an integral source for credit to the agriculturist. Particularly, the cooperative banks are going to give agricultural credit. So therefore, it is an important and integral source as well. It conforms to the requirement of the democratic planning and economic progress. Since already we understood the members are democratic decision, democratic planning is taking place, and finally that will lead to an economic progress. It provides support to the small and marginal farmers for buying inputs, storage and marketing assistance. This provides small and marginal farmers buying inputs, storage and marketing assistance. Agricultural inputs like the seeds, like the manures, like the pesticides, like other agricultural implements like the tractor, tiller, all these equipments can buy by taking credit from the cooperative banks. And also cooperative banks are extending storage facility loan even for the members of the farmers. So like this, the cooperative banks its own importance. Further, what are the problems faced by the cooperative banks? An important problem faced by the cooperative banks are loan waiver schemes. Government is going to waive the loan to the farmers and other different category people in the society. This is going to be a kind of a burden to the cooperative banks because government is going to initiate these kind of work through the cooperative bank. So therefore, when government is giving money to these banks in a later stage, which means by taking some time, to this sometime period, these cooperative banks are incurring a huge loss. So therefore, loan waiver schemes are it is one of the problem for these cooperative banks to the maximum extent. Limited resources. The financial strength of cooperative societies are low due to the limited supply of capital. So here capital supply is very less, incapable of management. Here the management all the time we cannot expect the sound management. So therefore, incapable management is also one of the biggest drawback and demerit of these cooperative banks. Lack of motivation in cooperative banking system. We can say that there is a lack of motivation. This lack of motivation is also leads to a kind of a problem or a demerit. Rigid business practices, they might sometimes the practice of rigid business practices, limited consideration also they are going to take, high rate of interest. So these people, they may charge high rate of interest in the competitive world when the other nationalized commercial banks are providing rate of interest at very reasonable, then people will go there. Then the business model of the cooperative bank is expected to be very, very that is a bad hit. It is expected to take place. Lack of secrecy. Yes, since democratic control is there, secrecy, it is very difficult in the cooperative bank system. So here undue government intervention, many of the time government intervention also takes place. Because of these government intervention, the cooperative banks development, it is difficult to develop. So therefore, that is also again one of the problem and demerit of cooperative banks. And NPA, non-performing assets. Nowadays, what is happening? Non-performing asset of cooperative banks, it is increasing. Because of this reason, again, their money in the hand to spend in the form of credit creation, it is becoming difficult. So therefore, these are the demerits which we can find in the form of cooperative banks. Further, we are going to recap So we understand what the cooperatives are the banking system. So that is on the principle of democratic control. They have established their shareholding pattern and democratic method of banking system. The different types of cooperative bank: primary agricultural credit cooperative societies, district agricultural cooperative societies, and state credit cooperative societies, land development bank, and urban credit cooperative societies. Like these different kinds of the types of the credit cooperative banks, we can find it out. And further features, the important features: democratic control, we can look into it. At the same time, one man only one vote, so that so the decision is completely a kind of a democratic in nature. So these are the important features which we understand in this session. At the same time, merit. It has important merit. Around nearly 65 to 67% of rural credit. It has been extended. It has been extended in the cooperative banking system. Another important demerit of the that is cooperative banking system, which we can come across, that is limited capital supply, which they will not be able to understand. They will not be able to supply credit on time. So these are the important things which we have discussed today. So all of you go through these all slides once again and listen to once again. And students who are not subscribed this channel, subscribe the channel, then so that is re-listen again, and you can learn more, make notes according to this. Thank you, my dear all. These are the recap about the cooperative banking system.